I come back home from a 10 to 12 hour shift to find all of my stuff in bags stacked in the closet. What's good, Nesta gang? Welcome back to my channel. If you're a new viewer, what's good? Make sure you hit that subscribe button and be a part of Nesta gang, because Nesta gang is the littlest gang of all gangs. So with that being said, welcome back, babies. I know it's been a while. It's always been a while, but in my defense, I never knew that the last story time hit 6K. So whenever I tell you guys to get the video to a certain amount of likes and it hits that amount of likes, make sure you like blow up my DMs and I will film the next part of the video. A lot of people have been saying like, dang it, you took forever to record the next part of the story. I forgot everything that happened. So I wrote a lot of notes on my phone. I did like a little summary of all the other stories so that we can catch up. If you guys haven't watched my previous story times about me getting kicked out, then this story won't make a lot of sense. So I need you to go back and watch the very first video. It's called Kicked Out at 17 and Moving Over 18 Times. Watch that video and catch up because these stories are juicy, honey. They're juicy. So before I get started, I'm just gonna do a walkthrough of the other videos just to catch you guys up. In the first video, I got kicked out. I was having mom issues. And then I moved to my best friend's house, but I had to leave because she moved out of state. Then I went to Ashley's house, which was roach infested, and it quickly went from welcoming to not welcomed at all. Then I moved to my ex named James' mom's house, and we called her Lupe, but she was unbearable. It was hard to live with her, so I had to go. Then I went into his aunt's house, lived in the room with his cousin. We named her Ipsy, and that was the video that out of all the story times, it was like really low volume, and it's because I forgot to plug the microphone in, so I apologize for that. I did turn it up as much as I could, so if you haven't watched the video because it was too low, literally you have to be in a room that's super quiet and plug it to your speaker and everything. But you have to listen to that video if you haven't, because that video is really juicy and interesting. So basically I had to leave there though because they were treating me like a maid, and then the mom popped up out of nowhere and said I was cheating even though me and James was not together. And then after I finished high school, instead of moving with my sister, James convinced me to move in with him. So then I moved in with him and I lived in a small little dorm room for some months, but then my relationship went left and I went back into my mom's house, which is the first time that I've been there since she kicked me out. But she lied about things like the house being infested and got really petty, so I moved into this girl called Mariah's house because I could no longer stand being at my mother's house. And let me tell you, before I get into this video is very juicy and there's a lot of details. You guys ask me a lot of the times, how do I even remember all of this stuff happening? And a big help is my diary, and I'm so glad I wrote those things down because this really humbles me and it lets me know to not be as naive. Just don't let people run over me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, lets me know that literally everybody in my past is no good. So if they try to pop up, they need to pop back down. You feel me? So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna start the story before I start my makeup. So now that we're all up to date, I moved in with Mariah. So just to start off this story time, Boston, we wasn't together anymore. We were just friends. I started even talking to somebody else. She started talking to somebody else, but she would pop up randomly just to see if I was okay. She is the good guy still at this point in time. We would talk like once in a blue moon. So when I moved into Mariah's house, mind you, they were so welcoming when I came in. I wasn't expecting to move in. Her parents just welcomed me in because it was like, oh, you've been here for like a couple days now, like you might as well move in. They gave me a key to the house and everything. I was like, oh, I love y'all so much. Thanks for saving me. I should have pulled up the first time before I went to all these crazy houses, you feel me? But anyways, when I moved into Mariah's house, that's when I got really invested into You Now. In the story time, the dorm, I told you guys how I found You Now and stuff. But yeah, so I made an account and I was on there all the time again, like back to back. Mariah thought it was weird at first, but after a while she was like, you know, messing with it, so she made herself an account and everything. My account started picking up, like I got a lot of views. A lot of people knew me, especially when I transformed my hair from dark brown to like blonde, and then quickly I went like a hot fire red. And when I went fire red, like my social media just kind of blew up. That's when social media started taking off and stuff, and people were actually like paying attention to me. Everybody knew Mariah as my sister. Like nobody thought that we wasn't sisters. Like we were both had Spanish in us, and yeah, like we were like mad close. I want to say we grew up together because we knew each other when we was very young, but we didn't see each other often. So I lived there, and then I'm not sure if her boyfriend moved in. I don't know if he moved in before or after I moved in, but he was also in the picture and stuff. And that's when we started making videos. We started doing all the challenges on Instagram and stuff. I feel like a lot of people, as weird as it is, they start to get stalked when they like get popping or whatever. I don't know, but I ended up having a stalker, and this stalker would instigate. Okay, so I met my best friend. She doesn't want me to use her real name, so Sin. I met my best friend Sin on You Now, and that'll come in handy in a second. And then the girl who I ended up talking to. So the stalker would like instigate. Like the stalker came out of nowhere, by the way. I think it's when You Now allowed people to guest for the first time, and then people would guest me. We would play games and stuff, and then like people sometimes they would just roast whoever was in my guest list. I don't know, something like that happened. Shortly after that, I got a stalker that would instigate everything. Like they would make anonymous pages, multiple pages, which I have in one of my phones. Like I was writing down the different names, the accounts that they had created. This was when Kick was jumping. Back then you couldn't open a message without it notifying the other person. So literally I was curious, like what you gotta say now? Like out of curiosity, I always opened the messages, and they would just keep going and going and going, and I wish I had the screenshots. But they would instigate, like with the person who I'm talking to, they would tell her that like me and my best friend are talking and some crazy stuff. And they even found Boston. One day Boston came into the chat, and the stalker seen them and reached out to Boston and was like anonymously sending Boston messages saying that I was never loyal from the jump, and that I said blase about her, and that I was with this girl. Like it was crazy, to the point where this person almost made Boston commit suicide and made the girl who I was talking to have panic attacks and stuff. Like it was just causing a lot of drama, and I could not believe that that kind of stuff was happening. It was just crazy, and the only person who was really there for me was my best friend Sin. But yeah, so I had a stalker for a while. I think it stopped after about a year and a half, but this person was creating so much drama for me in my personal life, and it was so creepy and crazy. But anyways, in the last story I said that I had got a car, and that is false. I did not get a car until I moved into Mariah's house because the way Mariah started acting. So now that I think about it, I didn't have much money to my name. I didn't have money to show for the hours that I put into work because I was constantly giving people gas money and then some. But yeah, so when I moved to Mariah's house, I was like, oh no, I need to get my license and I need to get a car like ASAP because this is not okay. Okay, I'm about to read a part of my diary. But before I read this part of my diary, I just want to say that, mind you, me and Mariah are like mad close. Everybody sees us as sisters. We made a whole bunch of videos together. But after like some months of me living there, when you stay somewhere too long, it's like you're overstaying. Like you can't stay somewhere too long because then you start seeing people's true colors, and it's just not a good idea. So just, if you're gonna take anything from me, just take that. Don't overstay somewhere, even if everything's all good, because things can go left real quick. Okay, so this is when I first talked about Mariah. It says, now I've been living with her for a while now, and we've had our issues and whatnot. Like our first conflict was her not wanting to pay me back for the $160 Ugg boots I bought her. Like I said, we were sisters and we wanted to match and stuff. So we went to the mall, and then we saw these Uggs and we was like, oh my god, these look so cute. And she just didn't have the bread, and I was like, oh no, that's fine, just get it and then you can just pay me back. She's like, okay, bet, I'm gonna pay you back with my next check next week. And I was like, okay, bet, whatever. She didn't want to pay me back. Like I wasn't her priority because her boyfriend, let's name him Q. So she didn't want to pay me back the $160 for the Ugg boots that I bought her, but she'd be too quick to buy Q something. She'll do stuff like pay for mad hotels for them to have their little romantic date nights. She would never want to take me to work or pick me up. Okay, so she was doing fine at first, but then she started asking me for money, a lot of money. The drive was about 15 to 20 minutes to get to my job, and she would drag. Like she would get me to work late all the time. It was ridiculous. And taking the bus from her house, because it was a little bit further than my mom's house, was even longer. When I moved with her, it was winter time, and winter time in Michigan is crazy, especially when you live in the Grand Rapids area, because they do not like to plow. So the snow is hella high, it's super icy, and yeah, so she would never want to take me to work or pick me up when I asked, or she'll tell me she'd get me and never show up, or be like 2 hours late, and I'd be sitting in the store while it's super dark all alone. So that's one. And then, like I said, she would ask me for gas money. She would ask me for like $20 every 2 days, and she wouldn't drop me off and take me to work those 2 days, you feel me? She really wanted the money so that she could take Q out and like do stuff for him. They was doing stuff all the time. Like, she was always in her car, she was never at the house, and whatever money I gave her for gas money would be gone by the time she had to take me to work. So she'd be like, well, I mean, I don't have gas, so I don't know what to tell you. So I would have to give her gas money, you feel me? Like, she would manipulate me. And she had a job, she was a waitress, and she had the audacity to like count her money in front of me, but not once just threw me even a portion to go for the 160. It was just a lot of red flags. So there was this one time I didn't have my debit card or ID, which she knew I lost somewhere, but she invited me to the movies. So if somebody just randomly comes up to you like, hey, come with us to the movies, and you know that that person doesn't have money or their ID, you thinking that they're gonna pay for it, right? So I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, come on, like convincing me so hard to come. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I go, right? It was like a 30-minute drive to get there. When they pulled up, she literally tells me that one, it's a scary movie, and I do not mess with scary movies, and two, it's a rated R movie. First of all, I look like I'm 13. Why would you even think that this was gonna happen unless you knew somebody working there, you feel me? So she's trying to convince the ticket lady to let me in, and the worker was not having it. You know what Mariah does? She's dead ass about to go in the movies with Q and leave me in the living room sitting there for 2 hours until they come out. It's like 11 p.m. and she dragged me there. You feel me? The whole time Mariah's telling Q, well, I don't know what to do. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? Like, you just about to leave me here? Like, let's go. She's like, I didn't drive here for nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you knew that I didn't have anything on me. Why would you even, you know what I'm saying? So she's like telling Q to come on. And thank goodness Q had a good heart and was like, no, I'm not about to leave her here. He was like, you can go by yourself if you really want to go, but that's messed up because you brought her all the way out here and she didn't even want to come. So literally after he said that, she had her little attitude and stuff, and then we went can you believe that? Little stuff like that is things that she would do that would show her true colors. There's this other time where Mariah and Q were like, you know, chilling in the room or whatever, and he had these shoes and it had like a red dot on it. It looked like a marker or something. A part of me for some reason was like, should I tell him that there's something red on his shoe? But then I was like, nah, like whatever, just let it be. Which I wish I would have told him, because bro, mind you, I told you that I changed my hair to red, so you should already know what's going to happen. The next day I needed to touch it up because it was like fading or something. So in the morning I had my sister, and then I decided, okay, I need to re-dye this weave in my real hair. So I had the weave spread out on the floor like with papers and stuff like that to not get the floor dirty and stuff. Mind you, Mariah has 2 younger siblings that run all over the house. They've been running all over the house. Okay, so after I finished dyeing the hair, I left it out for a second. I hopped in the shower for literally 10 minutes, and then I came out. I get changed in the room. I go back outside the room to do something, and then all of a sudden, Q is going crazy, talking about some, oh my god, I got red on my shoe. I was like, oh, I seen it yesterday, but I didn't say anything because, I don't know, I didn't think to tell you for some reason. He's like, nah, that happened today. It was your little sister who did it, blah, blah, blah. And I asked her, mind you, she's grown. She would tell me, you know what I'm saying? And if she did it, she would have the dye on her hands, you feel me? But she didn't. She was literally playing on my laptop or my phone, one or the other. And I'm the type, I'm not gonna run away from my responsibilities, you feel me? If she did do that, or if I did do something like that, I'm going to pay for it. But I didn't do it. So he's like accusing me, and I'm like, that's not me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And it was a jersey. So he said he had it on his shoe, and he said that there was red on his jersey. And I was like, I seen the red on your shoe, but the jersey, it couldn't be me. Like, the dye is on the floor in a small little spot. She has not gotten up, so maybe you dropped it. And did you forget that she has 2 other siblings running around the house? He was like, no, F dad, you gotta pay for it. So what are we gonna do? We not gonna do anything. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you, but it's not my fault. And so Mariah walks in and she's like, what's going on? And he told her what happened. And I was like, I wouldn't do that if it was really my fault or her fault. I would say something, but you can't just blame somebody else and then expect me just to pay you whatever it was. I think he said it was like $160, which is like BS. So long story short, I had to go to work. So I was like, look, y'all tripping and I gotta go. He was like, no, you're not going nowhere until I get my money. And I was like, what did you mean? He's like, oh, okay, all right, you want to play like that? Bet. And Mariah had the audacity to, 1, not only not stick up for me, but 2, be on his side. She was like, yeah, girl, you don't want him to be petty. And I was like, what? I don't care. I was like, I did not do that. So I ended up leaving or whatever. But yeah, so she took his side, and that made things like uneasy at the house, because like I said, he lived there. And later on, I found out that he had recently lost his job. So I'm thinking now that he was trying to finesse because he didn't have money. He started like dealing drugs and all that stuff. So I guess, but it's like, you had no right to point fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is your white jersey even out while there's dye out and there's kids running around? You feel me? I had a car, and I think I let her boyfriend use my car, or I had to bring him somewhere someday. But we ended up discussing the time that we went to the movies, and she was literally gonna leave me there and stuff. We were discussing her not paying me back and stuff, how I felt, and he was talking about, yeah, I've been telling her like, you need to do that's not right and stuff like that. And even her own father was telling her, because me and her father were like mad cool or whatever, and he'd be like, so when are you gonna pay your friend back? When are you gonna pay her back? And she'd be like, get out of my business, blah 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 blah. So like, even her dad would tell her to pay me back and like to not do certain stuff, but she would not listen. She was like a rebel. So yeah, so me and him was discussing that, and basically Q was telling me how like they're not cut from the same cloth. He doesn't understand why she does some things too. Like, he was telling me how she did a couple things to him that was wrong. And then a couple days later, I come back home from a 10 to 12 hour shift. And let me pull out the diary. Let me tell you something. So I came home to the crib to find all of my stuff in bags stacked in the closet. On top of that, she wouldn't even accept my phone calls or texts. So imagine coming and it's dark AF, and you're looking in the room and there's like nothing in the room, and what is in the room, it's like in bags thrown in the closet. Like, my makeup's not on the vanity. So I'm calling her, like trying to see what's going on. I'm texting her like, where are you? What the F's going on? Like, this is mad petty. So she did not answer, but it's okay, because she gotta come back home in a couple hours because she has to babysit the kids. So I'll see her soon, which I don't have anything written in my diary, and I don't remember what really happened, but it couldn't have been horrible because I was still living there for a couple more months. But basically, she was like trying to move in with her boyfriend because he got kicked out because he was selling drugs and wasn't working and wasn't trying to find a job. So the next day or a couple days later, I come back home again, and right off the jump when I walk into the room, something's off, because my camera bag was flipped open and it was crooked. I'm talking to my best friend, like my heart's beating, like something, it just felt wrong. So I go open it, no camera, no flash drive. Mind you, the flash drive had memories of my brother that passed away. Like, it had like a lot of stuff, like memorable things that I could never get back. So those are gone. So right away, Mariah's in the living room, and I was like, yo, what happened to my camera? She's like, what do you mean? Like, standoffish. And I was like, my camera is not there. Like, I literally just went to work for a couple hours, and right before I left, I know that Q was in here. I know that he was here before I left. So I'm just saying, where's my camera? And she's like, Q wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. Like, and I'm like, okay, so are you gonna ask him? Because my camera is worth a lot of money that I paid for, and this is what I need to make videos. And she was like, I don't know. So I'm over here pacing around the house. I should have went off on her. I should have fought her, to be honest, but like I said, I didn't know where to go, you know? And I'm the type to think out situations before I act on them. So I'm like pacing around, and then all of a sudden her dad pulls up. So I hurry up, leave the house, and I walk to the car before he even gets out. And I was like, look, I came home, I told him the situation, and basically he was kind of like, I'm sorry for your loss type stuff. Like, he knew it was messed up, but he's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I was like, I think it's cute, but she's not saying anything. Like, I'm thinking he's gonna like say something to her or him, you know what I'm saying? He's like, that's messed up. Like, I feel so bad for you because it was under my house and I know it was really expensive. And I was like, yeah, very expensive. And me and him just got into it and he was being petty, so I know it was him. Like, it has to be him. And so we go inside the house and he's like, okay, well, at least we're gonna help you find it. Like, we're gonna look for it for you. Also, my watch was missing, my $300 Michael Kors watch. So I was like, okay, something's going on. So this girl, when we walked back in the house, she's like, well, yeah, Q didn't do it. He's over here yelling at me, getting mad because I even asked him. But she was like so nonchalant, like it didn't even sound realistic. And so when he was like, okay, help us find it, you know, like back in the days when you took something, or you know somebody else took something and they help you find it, you know, she was like barely looking. We went in the playroom, the kids' playroom. She was like tossing things around, just walking nonchalant through the house, and I was like, oh my gosh, bro. Thank God something told me to bury my laptop in the drawer in the clothes, because if I had not done that, I swear the laptop would have been gone too, and that was like more treasurable than my camera. So something told me to go through her phone, but I didn't have the chance to go through her phone. I couldn't call the police because it was like their house or whatever. I didn't want to start drama. And then something told me just not to do nothing. Like, karma is a, you feel me? Just let karma take its course. I was literally this close to putting sugar in her gas tank and busting out the windows of her car because she pissed me off that much. And one of my new shoes were missing, which Boston ended up buying me some new pair because she knew that was my favorite shoe, but that was stolen too. So I never got revenge, but karma took its course. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so she didn't know that I knew her password. So one day when she was knocked out, she had her phone laid out and I went through it. And tell me why this girl deleted everything. She is so smart, but dumb at the same time, because she never deletes anything. I went through her messages and her conversation with Q literally had like 2 messages. Like, she recently deleted it. Who knows? Maybe she did know that I knew her password, or she had a feeling that someone was gonna go through it or something. So all her messages were deleted. I even checked Facebook Messenger because that's like the second thing she used. I checked her apps and like there was no conversation with nobody about anything. And I was like, this bitch, she's smart. But I know you did it. I know for a fact you did it because nobody else had a motive to steal from me, which is so messed up. Especially after I've told you that what he stole was very valuable. Like, my brother that passed away, memories are on there, you know? So she had no heart. Neither of them did, obviously. But karma did run its course because they did end up breaking up later on, like after I left. And she ended up getting into this incident where her car didn't turn on. And then when she opened the hood to check it, some fluid squirted all over her stomach and arms and body and stuff. So she got like a really bad burn. And it looked so bad and disgusting. So that was her karma for being so petty and such a bad friend in person, just a bad human being in general. That's what you get. Anyways, it doesn't stop there, y'all. Literally, that's only half of my notes, which I might split her story time in 2 because this is getting long. Say, baby, I love you. Say, baby,